Welcome to the Two Henry podcast. Henry Davis Jr. I'm sorry, Councilman Henry Davis Jr. And I'm here with,
Henry Davis Sr.
and you got it there, right? So we look forward to you guys enjoying yourselves for the next half hour. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, we're back, you guys. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and thank you for the opportunity to um, give you something and allow you to listen to something that's probably a bit different than you normally do. Again, look, we're doing this thing here, and we have been doing this thing for, I think this is the fourth or fifth one, and we're going to continue to do these. You're going to roll them out over your social media sites. We're going to roll them out over any platform that we can so that you guys get an opportunity to listen to the two Henrys. But we're going to really touch upon a lot more community issues than most of your other podcasts. We're going to bring in a flavor of politics, family, religion, definitely, and want to just kind of like mix it up. But I mean, you're going to get the politics, right? Yours truly right here. So I'm going to get started today. I think we're going to have a discussion about something that I think many of you probably have even thought about. And what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the possibility of having a black mayor in the city of South Bend.
Okay, so I am a little stuck on that one because I didn't climb that mountain twice. And so I'm not even necessarily interested in the possibility. I think my question or my idea, my thought is, why haven't we? I mean, why haven't we had the opportunity to see something that looks like us in an executive leadership position that is over this city, not the county or anywhere else, the city?
It's the people that are in place, in my estimation, that would be able to push it through to prepare a man's or a person's heart to receive a person of color as.
No, I don't like the personal color stuff. People say that all the time. That's a black man right there. That's a white man there. That's there's nothing wrong with saying what it is.
Seeing a black man
Yeah.
at the helm of the city.
Or a black woman.
Well, black man at this point.
Okay, well, that's what you say. I think a woman should have equal access to it as well. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was okay. I think it'll be actually fun, to be honest with you. And get a different type of spirit and idea out there. But anyhow, we're talking about the representation of someone being black in that seat. All right.
Well, reason I said a black men are being marginalized. They're being pushed to the back as far as black men, black women. White men, to me, doesn't want to see a strong black man leading the city. It's like we don't exist. Only time we really see a black man, it is when he have done something wrong, criminal act, or just done something stupid altogether.
Or just be a target. You may have not even done anything wrong. You may have been doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you end up on the front page of the newspaper. I said I was going to use this today. So check this out, you guys. Look, this is what happens, right? This is your image of what your leadership shouldn't do, right? He shouldn't stand up for people. He shouldn't stand up with white folk who are a part of another party, Republican. And you're not supposed to be able to speak the truth about whatever you're encountering or facing. So it says ex-South Bend councilman faces defamation suit. I get sued because I told the judge, probate court judge, that he was wrong. I'm not going to get into the words that I said, but dude, you're wrong. And because somebody got butthurt, he wanted to go ahead and start suing. Look, it's over with. It's been done. But when you do run into this type of problem or situation, it only becomes a real problem when you do not have the support or base of support, usually from your own community. Um, there, you didn't see, or we didn't see, or I didn't see. I never experienced during the course of this lawsuit while this was in court. Um, Not very many black people stood up or said anything. As a matter of fact, they didn't. None. And they knew the history of this judge, his behavior, the actions, etc., but went nowhere around.
Yeah, my thing is, I remember when you ran for mayor, we had another black gentleman say to you, what makes you think that the white politicians would turn
No, he said white community. That's what he said. I
Okay.
remember that. I know you can ready to say.
The budget over to you as if you didn't know or wouldn't know what to do with a budget of that amount, so many millions of dollars a year, that it was like you didn't have the mentality nor the understanding of knowing what to do to run a city. And that came out of his mouth.
Yeah. A local black pastor, to be honest with you, said that out loud to me in my face. That was not only offensive, but that was also hurtful, right? I got into a situation in my own mind, questioning what I was doing, why I was doing it. And I think what occurred years later, I found myself to be extremely angry by it was such painful memories coming from that last, I think it was the last run. It just I don't know. I never seen so many people who needed so much more support. Um, they felt like the only way that it would happen is through the people that oppresses them. And so your argument earlier, or what your statement was, it wasn't even an argument. What you said earlier, you said something to me about um, they've been pushed to the back. They meaning black men. Absolutely. And that has been the context of the discussion, given what we have now as for a president and what the Democratic Party did not want to support. And that was the issues of the black man. They talked about that. It's been rolling around on the news for, I don't know, for a while, actually. And so you get some conversation about it now. It's not as loud as it used to be, but it still exists. And I have some friends too that's really like pissed off at the Democratic Party because of that.
They ask a black man questions that they refuse to ask the white man. You've never heard a white candidate get questioned in that manner. That's what really riled me up. How dare you? How dare you ask me a question like that? And you just assume that the white man know what to do with the money. And if you took a look around, you can see that he's been messing up since day one. But you don't have the nerve to ask that question to him.
Well, it's cultural, right? And if you're being told that you're not allowed to ask those questions, or even the consequences that come from this type of like work, I paid a pretty penny over the last 20 years on a lot of different things. Those are silent battles folks don't know anything about, but I mean, you talking about getting blackballed from jobs. My God. One that was extremely loud was when I was pulled over at gunpoint. You was with me too. Got pulled over at gunpoint by the police department. I mean, look, those things are part of, the work that I had to do. And because I was bold enough or crazy enough or maybe I love my community so much that I thought it was necessary to, hey, you guys don't deserve a budget because we are still dealing with the police tapes. And those are telling us that you got some practices that, some unsavory practices going on there. And so I voted against it. And that was my right as a council person. I'm allowed to do that. That's what I am supposed to do. Yay or nay. Can't abstain from voting it. in Indiana. If somebody do, you need to go check their handbook. But no, really, really, really. And so some folks don't want to pay the price. They are very nervous from paying the price, man. And we start off the show and we're talking about it, the consequences of it, but we're also talking about how people have such a it's just a distaste. It's I wouldn't say they were scared. It was just a really, really, a distaste to what that is. And I can survive the way that I've been living. And that turns obviously over to apathy and less voting. But like I said, I brought this up, and I see so many things here in this room that look, none of this was like put together like that. So I can see his hat. Okay, I remember going to the TSU game when they played Notre Dame, and Notre Dame beat them up pretty good. And so I remember the so I had TSU on this day. My wife is a graduate from Tennessee State. And so it was just like, you can't wear no Notre Dame gear this week. And I said, cool. And so I put the TSU, and I'm going to get back to what we're talking about. The TSU represented that I was from down south. The TSU represented that I was black. TSU thing represented so many other things. And I remember being out on campus, and this lady, you have to know who Henry is in South Bend, especially at that time, And so she just looked at me, and she was just so like, "Thank you so much for coming, and we really appreciate you guys being here." It was like this gift of a guest from wherever that didn't even know that they were like fresh off the boat or something. It was crazy, crazy as hell. And I just remember the experience of people not remembering who I was because there were so many black people out there. And I remember how uncomfortable that was, not only for me, but for those as well. And we began to talk about, why hasn't this happened for South Bend? I think that we are way behind when it comes to race relations here in South Bend. What do you think?
I don't think we're so much way behind. I just think they do not.
Who was they?
White people do not celebrate the black male. If you're not kissing their behind, or bringing them coffee, or washing their car, they do not recognize you. Not all of them, but the ones in the position to push for change. I have to believe that they don't believe that we want change as a black man. They all the white establishment seems like they always have an answer. You can say we can do it this way. They say yeah, but it's always that but. And our ideas, the motivation that we have is always pushed aside.
Is that because a pattern of behavior was established by some black community leaders? So, like, let me say this. I come in, and it was before 2008. I started as a precinct committee chairman, then I went to state delegate, and then I became a council person. And so I had a few years in between, start to the real start. And so when I came in, starting out from that ground level, there was this thing that I remember experiencing from black men in this community that were once were leaders here or supposed leaders here in South Bend. Because now I'm getting the information from the inside. I get to actually see what's going on here. And I remember my trip into politics, and it started with me actually running an election for precinct committee chairman. If you don't know what precinct committee chairman is they are very, very supportive of the party itself. They do a lot of party work. That could be phone calls. That could be knocking on doors. I mean, whatever the party needs. But mainly the power of a precinct committee chairman would be the person who helps chooses or elects the leadership of the Democratic Party, your local Democratic Party. And so very important seat. So getting that seat, I had to like knock on doors and I had to stand out in front of the precinct polling place. And I was, 100 feet from the door I was. And I had to beg, smile, hug for people's votes. I remember that experience being just like that, and also being told that I couldn't do it because I had to be appointed by the Democratic chairman. So the appointment from the Democratic chairman provides the Democratic chairman the vote. It's insane. No, you actually have to run for election because people actually vote for you. And I remember encountering other black men on a consistent basis telling me that this is how it works versus what I did know by what the book says. And it was just this thing like, you don't do that.
Well, see, at that time, we do not, as a black people, choose our leaders. Our leaders are chosen
Yeah,
for us.
that's what he was saying. They were saying to me.
Right, weak ass men, weak ass women, black women. When they changed Chapin Street into Martin Luther King Drive without one address on the street, not an address nowhere within that 4 or 5 block area. And then they had nerve enough to get on TV doing an interview, crying and thanking God for something like that. Those were the leaders that they had chosen. Those were the leaders that don't speak to people of their same color, their same race, to get what needs to happen within their community. These are the leaders that the white man chose and said, these are your leaders. These are your gatekeepers. What damn gate?
Well, whatever they can use to stop you, man. I mean, look, this thing is deep, right? So my family have experienced quite a bit of stuff, man. I'm talking about from being denied opportunities for jobs, just real bad experiences on the job, the lack of support. I can go on for days, man, about that. So I get why you can get that type of cartoon character running around here in this area, and so that's why I was asking earlier. My predecessors set a tone on how you are supposed to behave.
Chickens. They're chickens.
Yeah, I got that.
Now I'm getting ready to get real with it.
No,
They don't have any balls.
Hey, man, look, man.
Let's say what it is. Let's say what it is, because lives are destroyed because of this. You got people that are standing up, they're supposed to be standing up for their community, particularly for their race. And they're selling you out. I remember when they had the race riots back in the late 60s. A young man lost his leg because one of the chosen leaders went and told where they were meeting at. And as the people was coming in, so was the police department.
Oh, I got wild up in there.
Surrounding the building.
Yeah, I know, I got wild up in there.
Out of that came a woman that they chose to be the leader. She hasn't done diddly since then. Nothing but sell out. And they yet herald her as an 80-year-old leader. No, we didn't choose her, but this is who they choose to recognize. So when someone else stands up as a leader, the newspaper, the television cameras, none of them want to give them airtime, because to give them airtime is to see that there is a leader that has been chosen, not by the white media.
Yeah. So why haven't we had a black mayor? What be it is a woman, black man. Why haven't we had that? And I think what I was saying earlier about um, um, not only the media but also just the choices that are made or how we follow behind the lead. And this is generations. This is just not over the last couple of decades. This is a bill, right? Um, it's profoundly counterproductive, counterintuitive to continue to behave that way, right? We never have seen that type of leadership that comes from the community that looks like the community. Not ever here in South Bend. I think South Bend has a proven history and track record of needing and only inviting one thing into the party. And that one thing is your level of conformity and how do you have to conform. I think that is like disgusting, and that flies right in the face of what we call our republic. Now, I wanted to say this earlier because you're very clear right now about color. You're very clear about black, white, whatever that is. And I think that is very healthy in these type of conversations. And the reason why I think that that's healthy is because you do live in a republic. The republic, by definition, requires that level of participation from any minority group. We just can't cover all minority groups by saying minority or people of color. We have to announce what that is. The more we announce it, the more we become more comfortable with that very practice. There is no malintent in that. There is just intentionality. What I want to believe is that if we are being clear about the Constitution, the Republic itself, and it behaving the way it's supposed to behave, we are more. We have a loud microphone. We have the ability to announce that and be very clear about that, and not be scared of it. That's our Constitution. United States. Well, I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands. And I've said this for years. That's your job. Now, does it come with consequence? Yeah, because free speech ain't free. It ain't free. You know what I mean? But I think people shouldn't be scared. Excuse me, shouldn't be scared of that. That's what I guess I'm hitting at more and more. That's one of the reasons why you haven't seen anybody like me make it to that 14th floor chair.
Because they know how to vilify a black man. It was like what Trump did. Well, they should vote for me because I got a mug shot.
Yeah, that was.
Come on, man. Everybody don't have a mug
I
shot.
got one, but I want to share my vote because I got one.
But
It's nuts.
that's how they marginalize black man. Every black man got a mug shot. Every black man been arrested for something. His mentality is not high enough. He would know what to do with the budget. He would, like they said about Harold Washington, he's going to drive down Michigan Street in a purple Cadillac going the wrong way. They vilify.
I had to be purple.
That's what the man said. He said a purple Eldorado.
Dog.
Yeah.
Rag top, drop top.
I don't know, whatever.
Wait. Wow.
We will be vilified. Our job as black men is to show that we are black men. We're man. We're made in the image of God and in his likeness. So we're here. We're highly intelligent. We have compassion. We know what love is. We know what a vision is. We know how to bring forth a vision and make it reality. We're black men.
I hear you, black man. So look, before we turn it off for this week's podcast. Now this was intentional. The T-shirt. I wore this T-shirt intentionally. I went down. I had the opportunity to go down to Memphis. My son and his travel team. I had a tournament down in Memphis. This is, I don't know, about a month ago. And so my wife, my son, and I, we all had the opportunity to go to the Lorraine Hotel, the famous, infamous hotel where Dr. King was assassinated. And went through, looked at the exhibits, and you went to the room, and all of that, is there. And so I got to experience that. Went to the bookstore, and this is all a great experience. Went to the bookstore, and I saw this T-shirt. I said, I like this one, man. Regardless of anything else that's maybe there, I really like this. I like this face. And I can go on and talk about, my introduction to Emmett Till's story when I was a little boy. That was scary. But I wore this because I knew that some of the topic would hit on what we was talking about, but wasn't completely sure. But I think this actually explains all of it. We've had a discussion about Moses, right? I don't think most people know who Moses Wright is. And I'm going to draw a parallel to what we're just going to talking about. This young man died at the age of 14. Now, I'm a 16-year-old, man. Come on, man. The beating was brutal. I mean, historical, right? So not only do we get the history of it, but we have to understand that there was more than just Emmett Till. There were a lot more. But because we do celebrate this one, we want to talk about it. And so whatever he did, however he did it, he calls attention to himself. Talking about Emmett Till, the wrong type of attention. And it was understood that you couldn't do what he did. They said he whistled at a woman. Well, he just gave the lady his admiration of what he thought about her, which was completely positive. He was just like, hey, you smoking, man. You hot. I mean, this is the story I got. And so, but 14, he out there like a little boy, so you don't know what he really meant. You know what I mean? So I'm going to get to it. So after he, displays this action, later on that night, you got some guys at the door. He got some on the door. They beat on it. And so knowing who they are, and you know what happened earlier, and Mr. Moses Wright, which is his uncle, may not even know who, was what happened earlier today. What I'm saying, him opening that door or even responding allowed to happen. The actions. There wasn't a fight. There wasn't a tussle. There wasn't no gunshots shot, no nothing. What I'm drawing a parallel to is how we get people the ability to rule over our community and do nothing to push back. This is your house. This is where you live at. This is where you work at. This is where your family and your kids are being raised at. This is not a military or militant action. This is your participation in our fine republic. This is your opportunity to create a community that supports you and grows you. This is your opportunity. This is how this works. And for whatever reason, we continue to allow people just walk in and take our kids and do whatever they want to do with them.
We allow them to make decisions for our lives.
Yeah.
And be satisfied with whatever they roll out with.
So, like, somebody comes and beats on my door, and guess what? They may overpower me, but it's not going to just be one person dead. There's going to be a lot of tussling going on. I may even lose.
Yeah,
but
come in my house like that, I'm gonna lock the doors. I'm gonna make you break out.
Yeah, there's a different level of conversation.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, and I understand Mr. Moses Wright. I do. I get it. He's like what we just talked about earlier. Those who are just interested in perform what they're told to perform, and they don't get no smoke. I got it. It's the programming. It's engineering. But as we have got a little bit further into time, when we've got more understanding of the Holy Writ, we've become more liberated. I think it's time to move past that.
I think also what has really happened, it is that we see the weak person, the weak black man, as Moses, right? Whatever excuse he came up with when they came in there and got that young man out of there, took him in
14 years old.
and did him the way that they wanted to do him, whatever came to mind, that's what they did. Now, they had black men that they couldn't have came up in that house and did that.
No,
They knew exactly where they were going and who they were doing.
absolutely.
So, yeah. And that's what is portrayed before people. That type of individual, that type of black man is what's laid out before them.
Before us, it ain't just them; it's us. We get to see it too.
Okay, so this is the picture that they have, and this is the picture that
And if you fight back, you end up in a newspaper like this.
it was like the night when they pulled us over at gunpoint. They thought they had an easy ride. They didn't have an easy ride.
Yeah, that's some traumatic stuff there.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm standing there and I got 4 police officers with their weapons drawn on me, and they knew we done no wrong whatsoever.
Man, we just left the council meeting
We did no wrong.
where I voted against their budget.
And
That's what we did wrong.
and they got their weapons pulled out. I had one had taken his hat off, and his head was bald. And he has his gun on me, growling. He was emitting sounds from his throat.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, I said, "You want to shoot me, you want to kill me." And he kept growling and emitting them sounds from him. But I went to jail.
Yeah, you did.
I went to jail. But he had one of the most unpleasant rides in his life.
Sure.
He ran every stop sign, every light. I talked about him and his mother for bringing such an individual into the world. So, but this is the image that is portrayed amidst white people and amidst black people, weak black men. That's why that knucklehead could walk up to you and say, "Do you think they're going to trust you with the budget?" I pay taxes like everybody else. What do you mean? That's my money too. You know, what makes this any different? But it's the image that was portrayed. It was like I said, when they came to that meeting where black people had gotten together to bring a list of demands, one person in that building had sold them out already. They did not come in to an area where there was being any violence. They brought to violence. They brought the fear. The young man got scared and he ran. They shot him in his back and blew his leg off. No one has answered yet for that.
That's South Bend history, right?
Right. And now that same one that sold them out is down there in the same position as their leader that they put up for our leader. Never has been an election to say, let's make her leader.
Okay, so we're very low on time. As a matter of fact, I don't think we'll be having more time. But I'm gonna ask this question. Does the idea of the white establishment having to speak up for black people, or white people themselves have to speak up for black people in order for that to happen? We said Black Mayor. We were talking about Black Mayor. That does it, given all the complexities we've been talking about the entire time. does white South Bend has to speak up for black South Bend, or does black South Bend has to speak up for black South Bend?
In that way, yeah, I look at it this way. Speak up for the best candidate, whether he's white, black, green, yellow, purple, whatever color the man is.
Well, that doesn't always mean the black guy that gets up or the black woman that gets up is the best candidate. We was talking about electing somebody in that looked like you and I.
And I don't want anybody going in there looking like me and ain't got good sense. No, we don't play. That's going out the world backwards. See, we're first human beings. And race became an issue when they started to separate the human beings.
Who was they?
People.
Okay.
When they started putting black here, white here,
Well, you can say the government. You think the government?
well, they're part of it because there's people in the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you
Did the church do it?
No, greed did it.
Oh, okay. So you can be greedy in church and you can
Money.
be greedy in government too, right?
Money.
Sure.
Money did it.
Money. The
Yeah.
love of it.
Yeah. Money.
The book says that too.
The
He says
love of
for
money.
the love of money is not.
Right.
Yeah, it's the root of all evil. Look, you guys, we'll be back, and thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I think this conversation deserves another one, as well as we're going to get back to the charter school. I think because all of these are the same, it shares the same corner, right? They all hinge upon the same thing. We're talking about community. We'll end up talking about faith here. We're talking about family. That sounds familiar, and I didn't mean to do that, but that's how it came out. But we're talking about what helps create a community, and I think that we'll be able to start really wrapping these things up and putting some exclamation points out there for you guys, and hopefully, like you guys actually enjoy it and share it with your friends and your family. Let's create the better conversation about what we can do versus what we can't do. What we can do, and not only what we can do, learn from our past. So that's why I got Pops over here. Hey, y'all, be easy. Good seeing you.